Thrill Me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
Heyo, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Review It Rob Show. I am, of course, your host, Review It Rob, coming at you with an interesting episode, to say the least, this week. I say interesting because I don't know how this is going to go, but I appreciate you all joining in. Hope you all have had a great time since the last time we talked, which wasn't too long ago. That's why we're in this interesting situation that we are with this episode. What I'm basically talking about is I dropped an episode over the weekend. Wasn't able to hit my normal release window, so I decided to do a weekend episode, which worked out because I got to do a double feature review. I reviewed Barbarian, horror movie, and Weird, the Al Yankovic story, biography comedy movie. Interesting double feature that kind of weirdly meshes in some kind of weirdness, and yeah. But I released that over the weekend, so that's out there, and that's fun. The reason I'm saying this episode is going to be interesting is because, you see, kids, when you release an episode over the weekend, and then you release an episode a couple days later, you know, you kind of put all the news you had in that weekend episode. So, scratching the barrel, seeing what kind of news I can give for you. Maybe this episode will be a little short. Maybe it'll be a regular episode. We'll see how this one goes. But nonetheless, I appreciate you for joining in. You got two episodes back to back, kind of close to each other here. We're going to be reviewing Enola Holmes 2, the brand new Netflix original film, which is a sequel to the 2020 Enola Holmes film that released. So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. We go over some news, got your DC, got your horror, and whatever else, again, I could pick out of the barrel to talk about here. It's going to be some slim pickings, to say the least. But as always, appreciate you joining along. If you want to listen to that double feature show, you can find it wherever you listen to your podcast, or you can go to the Thrill Me Podcast Network's YouTube page, where it is up live there as well on the YouTube page. I've been kind of busy, man. I've got a WWE 2K22 gameplay up on there, where I looked at the whole damn pack, which is the Rob Van Dam pack, Logan Paul, Machine Gun Kelly, and others in that pack. I had some fun with that one. And I have two more DLC packs to go over that I'll be doing some gameplay for hopefully soon. Also on there, you can see my transition video. Your boy got a haircut. Talked about that recently on the episode that came out a couple days ago. So yeah, we're not going to go back into that, but you can see that video as well. That is on there. Good times had over the weekend, but yeah, find that on Throw Me Podcast Network. Please hit the like, subscribe, share with all your people in your life or your animals. You know, let animals watch things too. They enjoy it. I saw a video on TikTok of a dog watching Lion King the other day, so they definitely watch TV for sure. But all the other stuff going on the Throw Me Podcast Network as well. Great list of shows going on there as we're heading into the end of the year and heading into 2023 and hoping to have some more things, man. But you got the Metal Groove podcast, you got the Haunters podcast, which just released their season finale episode. Tears, so sad to see them go, but they'll be back. Don't worry, babies. They'll be back when the haunt scene comes back around. Hot season, the haunt scene, hot season, whatever you want to call it, man. It's a scene for sure, to say the least, which I don't think I fully touched on the last episode. I should know because it's only a couple days ago, but my memory sucks. The Chucky house has been announced for Halloween Horror Nights already. Like, they announced that last week, and you know I'm hyped and excited about that. I love me some Chucky. Chucky's my horror icon. It's to be based around the TV show, which is a fantastic TV show. So can't wait to experience that house and go through that house as many times as possible. This last HHN trip was kind of a wash. I had a great time with my friends and Wolfpack members, but it was a shorter trip for me, and it just blew by way too quick, and just kind of was a wash year for me. I didn't even get any merch, man. Weird year to say the least. All the houses were really good. Yeah, well, there's one, but all the houses were enjoyable, and for some kind of moments. But scare zones were great. Shows were good. All that stuff. It just it was a wash this year, man, for me. It doesn't mean the event wasn't good. It just went by way too quick. I wish I had more time with it, more experiences with it, and all that good stuff. But neither here nor there. It happened. HHN 3032. Almost said 33. HHN 32 is up next. Can't wait to experience that with the Chucky stuff. Can't wait to see what kind of Chucky merch we're getting with that and everything. But nonetheless, let's jump into what we're here to talk about. Oh, and by the way, Thrill Me Podcast Network, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. And when there is a Patreon, it's something else I've been working on. I'm working on this new show for a Patreon. We're going to, roll that out soon. But it's going to be, I used to do a show called Flicks It. It's a spin-off of that, but in much grander scale and much better scale, I may say, as well. So can't wait to get that out there too. But again, please, like the Throw Me Podcast Network, help us continue to grow, please. We thank you. But without further ado, let's jump into the review for this week's episode. Teased it there earlier. It is Enola Holmes 2, starring the magnificent and incredible Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill. So let's go and hit that trailer up, and then we will come back, and I'll give you my thoughts on the film.
Excuse me!
Stop that girl!
Take my hand and come with me because you look so fine and I really want to make you mine. Perhaps I should explain. My name is Enola Holmes. I started a detective agency.
Oh, well, but you're a girl. Tell me,
Yes,
might your brother be free?
my brother. Well, I have not a single case. Sherlock Slater seems to be vexing him.
Is it true you find lost people?
Yes?
My sister. She disappeared a week ago.
At last, I would be a detective in my own right, worthy of the Holmes name.
Dare I ask?
She's a detective.
Good God, another one.
I'm trying to save a girl's life.
And what can we do?
We? Is he looking back?
Said, are you gonna be my girl?
Oh, good. He isn't.
Are you involved in something dangerous?
Good afternoon. You can't control Enola Holmes. She's a force of nature. You. Why are you here? Is it my case or your own?
Both. It seems our cases are connected. Shall we?
All right, man, what a fun trailer that was. Enola Holmes 2, PG-13 for bloody images and strong violence. It is a mystery thriller drama film running at 2 hours and 9 minutes, and again is streaming on Netflix. Fresh off the triumph of solving her first case, Enola Holmes follows in the footsteps of her famous brother Sherlock and opens her own agency, only to find that life as a female detective for hire isn't as easy as it seems. And you know what? I'm going to leave it there. I can read you much more of that synopsis. You can read it at your own will. Rotten Tomatoes critic score has it at a 92%, while the audience score has it at an 83%. IMDb has it at a 6.9 out of 10. So, what were my thoughts on the film? I honestly just finished watching it before recording this episode, which I like doing, man. Fresh thoughts in the head, throw them out there at you. So, I enjoyed the first Enola Holmes film. That was on Netflix 2020, I believe. I reviewed it. I don't think that was a Netflix exclusive review either. I could be very wrong about that. I don't know. 2020 was a long time ago. Um, my memory stinks, and that was a while ago, nonetheless. But I did enjoy that film. This film, after watching it, felt very same vein. You've got the charm of Millie as Enola Holmes with the smart and the brilliance and the mystery solving and the action scenes and the fighting and all that stuff. You still get all that in this film. Seems on a bigger, grander scale because it's a sequel. So, first time you do the movie, it's like, okay, so what we got to work with when we do the sequel, we can do a little bit more, which I feel like they did here as well. Um, I liked the whole feel of the film. I will say 2 hours and 9 minutes seems a little bit long, but we're gonna talk about that in a moment because I want to compare it to the other film because I feel like the other film was around the same amount of time, and I feel like that was one of the things I said about the on my review for the first Enola Holmes movie is that maybe a little bit too long. I kind of feel that with this movie. I think it's maybe just a little bit too long, but not a bad thing. Not an overall bad thing. My favorite aspect of this film, and I enjoy me some mystery films. I enjoy me some thriller films. I enjoy me some drama films. So definitely a mystery film. And when you're playing with these Sherlock Holmes characters, you've got to hope and pray that they're going to get it in an enjoyable kind of way because you're coming at a time when the Robert Downey Jr. films took place. So everybody's like, this is what they did with the Robert Downey Jr. films. Can we do it with this? And I feel like maybe the Robert Downey Jr. films were a little more brutal, if I remember correctly. They had like the slow motion hitting and breaking of bones things, kind of like Mortal Kombat style. If you play the Mortal Kombat game where they, like zoom in and all that stuff, you're not going to get that with these films. These Enola Holmes films are kind of like, don't want to describe it in a way that makes it seem like less of a quality or anything, but it kind of, I think along the lines of like a Disney Plus original film or like a Nickelodeon film or an ABC family film or something like that. It's gonna be a little more friendlier to the kiddos, but not gonna limit itself, if that makes sense. Like a Disney movie kind of would limit itself, This movie it's got some, bloody images and violence. So it's got those things in the film and they're there for sure, without a doubt. Just finished watching the movie and it's good there. I liked the mystery solving aspects of the film. Like I said, I enjoy stuff like that. So one of the things I love about the Batman movie that came out this year because we got to see Batman be a detective and see the detective Batman and all that stuff is what you've been hoping for and wanting to see. And that's one of the things I enjoyed so much about that film. And that's what I would want with an Enola Holmes film or a Sherlock Holmes film. I would want it to be about the case and about solving the mystery of what's going on here. And can we get this done? And how are they going to get this done? And where's it going? And can they solve it all? And that's, what I was hoping for with this film. And I think they did a good job there. My favorite part, which I think I already started to talk about and just went on a tangent here. My favorite thing that this movie did that the other Enola Holmes film didn't do, as far as I remember, is a lot more Sherlock Holmes in this movie. You can kind of hear in that audio clip where there are two cases are going to, be part of each other. I like those two working together. I like those two's interactions with each other. Um, Millie and Henry, two actors that I've thoroughly enjoy, favorites for sure. Um, have a great chemistry together. They work really well off each other. And they play that role of brother sister very well in this film, and it was great to see more scenes with them in this movie because I think every time they were together, it really helped the movie out. While the movie wasn't struggling per se for me, I think it gets a lot better when those two are interacting with each other because there's a good dynamic there. There's some comedy there, but there's some mystery work, teamwork going on there as well, which I personally find enjoyable. Now, I did mention comedy a moment there. There's some comedy bits in it as you would expect with the film. And the comedy's fine at points. Other points it does seem a little forced. Not gonna lie, a little. They force some things on you, comedy wise, to try to make it work, and you'll get a little snicker every now and then. But there's some forced lines. But overall, the comedy bits are good. Just some of the forced stuff, meh. Action scenes are fine. I'm not looking for some kind of big budget, over the top action scenes in the film. The scenes that you get in this movie are what you would kind of be fine with in a mystery thriller kind of film. So they nail those things. Again, not as brutal, like I said, as a Sherlock Holmes films with Robert Downey Jr., but these ones with Enola Holmes, they fit fine. It fits like the first movie did, action-wise. So it's about the same beats again between the first movie and this movie for sure. When it comes to action and the mystery solving and the comedy bits and all that stuff, it's a proper sequel, if you will. And the whole cast, I will mostly focus on Millie and Henry Cavill because they are, of course, the stars of the film. Millie more so than Henry because she is an Enola Holmes after all. But the rest of the cast is really good in this movie, and far be it from me to not give some praise and love to Helena Bonham Carter because anytime she showed up on that screen, I was like, heck yeah, man, because I love Helena Bonham Carter, and it you know it confirmed some things for me. Two things. One, I love Helena Bonham Carter. I didn't need that really confirmed anymore, but love her. And two, she is without a doubt one of my favorite actresses, more than likely in my top 10 favorite actresses, because again, when she came on the screen, I'm like, yes, Helena Bonham Carter, let's freaking go. She's so freaking awesome. And again, fantastic in this movie. Not a sizable role, kind of like the first movie. Maybe she had more screen time in the first movie. I don't know. I haven't really compared those two, but it's one of those things where maybe not as much time on the screen, but when she is on screen, it is her. It's she's the focus. She's the star, right? Because again, Helena Bonham Carter is one of the best in my opinion. I'm not just saying that as a Harry Potter fan. Anything that she's been in, she's always been fantastic in my opinion. So anytime she was there, great. So overall, cast is good. The story is fine. The acting is good. Again, overall, closing thoughts here. I found it to be an enjoyable film. Like I said, I had a good time watching it, and it's probably something I would watch again at a later time. Am I going to hurry and watch it again? Probably not, but I would definitely, watch it again and definitely do a double feature with both movies. I think they're both fairly solid, enjoyable films. For a Netflix original release, I think they nail the thing, and that's not a knock. Like we're living in a world now where streaming originals is a thing, and Netflix has been pretty big in that business for a while now. And you've got the Red Notice film that did really good. I enjoy these Enola Holmes movies a little bit more than Red Notice. I'm going to be honest, but you've got what Glass Onion coming, which I believe is going to have a theatrical release for like a week before the film hits Netflix. But Netflix is big into the original film business, and they're showing it more and more and more. And the Enola Holmes films are solid films in my opinion. So I definitely say give them the checkout. 2 hours 9 minutes. It's not the longest amount of time. You'll definitely see movies that are longer than that, but it did feel a little bit longer at time. It did feel kind of that urge to pick up my phone at points and check it out. Didn't feel that at all when Helena Bonham Carter came on. I'm like, hey, Helena Bonham Carter, put my phone down. But nonetheless, I mean, I love Millie. I love Henry. They're both fantastic. Anything they're in, I immediately like, yes, I want to check that out because they're both very, very talented at their craft. So overall, it's solid films, enjoyable films, worth checking out. If you're into mystery films, I think it's right down your alley. So I wanted to do a little comparison real quick. So let's see. This movie, 2 hours 9 minutes. The first Nola Holmes film, 2 hours 3 minutes. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not that much of a difference, and it's pretty interesting how this movie feels like it's a little bit bigger, but it's only 6 minutes more. So there you go. Let's see. Critic score 92% on the sequel, 91% on the original. So the critics are about the same on the film, which is kind of, honestly, I don't fully agree with Rotten Tomatoes all that much, but I honestly feel the same. I feel like both movies are around the same realm and feel. So good there. Audiences seem to be liking the sequel more than the original with an 83% as opposed to a 71%. So take it as you will, but overall, I enjoyed both films very much, and this new movie is enjoyable for sure. So, Enola Holmes 2 gives two very enthusiastic thumbs up from me. And again, if Millie Bobby Brown or Henry Cavill's in it, see it. They're fantastic at what they do. And Helena Bonham Carter, fantastic at what they do. So, yeah, I mean, that's just perfection in my eyes right there, man. Those three, that's the trifecta. That is the holy trinity, if you will. Fantasticness. All right, let's jump into the news, shall we? All right, time to news it up, man. Like I said, sparse on news here, but I got some good things to go over before we end this episode. I'm going to start off, of course, in DC land. James Gunn responded to some tweets over the weekend that were pretty interesting. People are, of course, starting their press campaign to get things saved in DC, because of course, release the Snyder Cut worked out so well that you still have people out there who want to release the Ayer Cut, as well as hashtag Save Legends of Tomorrow. So James Gunn saw this and he responded with the following. Quote, opened up Twitter at the end of a long creative weekend to see the many tweets to hashtag Save Legends of Tomorrow and hashtag Release the Ayer Cut, and fan support for other DC projects over the years. The majority of these requests were enthusiastic and respectful. As the new and first ever CEOs of DC Studios, Peter and I think it's important we acknowledge you, the fans, and let you know we hear your different desires for the pathways forward for DC. Although our ability to interact on Twitter has been lessened due to the workload of our new positions, we are listening and open to everything as we embark on this journey, and will continue to do so for the next few years. But all of our initial focus is on the story going forward, hammering out the new DCU, and telling the biggest story ever told across multiple films, television shows, and animated projects. We invite all of the DC fandoms from across the multiverse and everyone else as well into this new universe. We can't wait to reveal more. So I'm glad he addressed this. Release the Ayer Cut has been something that's gone on for a while. If you haven't been paying attention to it, Release the Ayer Cut is in pretty much like Release the Snyder Cut, because David Ayer's Suicide Squad movie wasn't released fully in its original version and format and writing and story and all that. So there has been a push to get Release the Ayer Cut out there, as Joker photos have come out, more information has come out from David Ayer and the actors. Save Legends of Tomorrow, I guess that show was canceled. I talked about it on my most recent episode. I'm not the best when it comes to watching TV shows, so Legends of Tomorrow is something I missed a great deal of. But yeah, I think people are hoping for a better end to that show more than just saving it. They want like a better finale, I guess is what they're asking for from some of the tweets I saw. So I'm glad James, touched on that. I'm also glad that he and Peter are moving forward. And I think if we're working on building a new storyline and a new story, I don't think we need to be looking back at these two properties. While I would love to see an Ayer cut of the film, I'm one of the few people in the world that doesn't hate that Suicide Squad movie. Do I think it's amazing? No. But at the same time, we saw how much better Justice League was when we got the real thing. So we'll see how that Suicide Squad movie could be. And he didn't say no. He said it's something they'll basically think about, right? When he said, we are listening and open to everything as we embark on this journey, and continue to do so for the next few years. So, I mean, there's a possibility that that's something that could be thrown on HBO Max at some point in time. I don't think it's going to be a focus on where James is going story-wise. Also, the other thing that I picked up on here that I found interesting is the biggest story ever told across multiple films, television shows, and animated projects. So, everything's connecting. Everything's connecting, and I think the Marvel stuff is doing that as well, where the movies, the shows, and I think the animated stuff. I don't pay attention to Marvel animated stuff, but I think What If is considered canon in a way. I don't know. Don't take my word on that. I really don't know, because I don't care. To be fair, but I mean, I love DC animation, so I'll definitely be checking all that. I love DC in general, but that's cool, man. I'm glad they've got their focus. They're working on their things moving forward. As far as an Ayer cut, as far as a save Legends of Tomorrow possibility, sure, but it's not something that's necessarily looks like it's going to happen anytime soon. But, keep your hopes up. It may happen. All right, that's all the DC news I had. Moving over to horror news, jumping into the Conjuring universe, Fantastic Universe. Speaking of Warner Brothers, it is a Warner Brothers franchise. We do know that The Nun 2 is on the way as well. The Conjuring 4 is on the way. But it does look like one of the Conjuring universe films has officially been kaput, I guess. Well, maybe not officially kaput, but still looks very unlikely to happen now, and that is the Crooked Man film. This is something that was rumored and said to happen after The Conjuring 2 came out, and then, of course, we've got the Nun film, we've got the Nun sequel announced, but the Crooked Man has not been seen. So James Wan recently posted a photo of a scene with the Crooked Man from the Conjuring 2 film, and then he put on the he was talking about that scene, and they also added, quote, and no, unfortunately, the spin-off movie with this character isn't happening. outside of my control, but maybe one day, end quote. Which I don't believe is the most shocking news in the world by any means. I think we all kind of expected with how long this has gone on and how there's been really no information whatsoever about the Crooked Man film since it was originally announced after The Conjuring 2. I think we all probably could have figured that this movie was in a position where it probably wasn't going to happen. And then as time moved on, we've getting a Nun sequel and everything, and it seems like we're getting other movies in the universe that the Crooked Man just wasn't going to happen. So maybe, like you said, maybe one day we'll get that. But as it stands right now, the spin-off movie with the character isn't happening. Hopefully it does change because that Crooked Man character was wild. Let's see, Netflix and Ryan Murphy will continue to stay in business as they both announced The Watcher Season 2. Interesting. And they also announced 2 more seasons of the Monster series. The Monster series, of course, most recently with Jeffrey Dahmer, which has been a huge success. The 2 upcoming seasons of Monster will not focus on Jeffrey Dahmer, however, but rather tell the stories of other monstrous figures who have impacted society. And people will, of course, watch that because they're watching this Jeffrey Dahmer thing like crazy. And I mean, people love serial killers for some reason. I don't, there's a fascination there that I think people need therapy for. But The Watcher Season 2 grabs my interest because my brother, Tombstone Josh, and I finished that show over the weekend. Enjoyed it. I mean, the last episode was what it was, but enjoyable first season. I was not expecting another season, honestly. I know it's based on a true story. Um, I haven't looked too much into the true story to see if there's even a reason for a sequel, per se. I mean, they definitely left it in a way where there could be a sequel. So, and now we know that we're getting one. So there you go. Ryan Murphy and Netflix continue to work on stuff. Speaking of sequels, let's go back to Enola Holmes 2 real quick. They did leave it open for more in that universe. So would not be surprised if we get more Enola Holmes stuff. So fun. All right, let's see what else we got news-wise here. Killer Clowns video game. Let's talk about that for a moment. We do have the Killer Clowns video game on the way, and I always get these guys' names wrong. I'm sorry. The Kyoto brothers. I suck at names. We know this. They talked a little bit about the upcoming game. And, they've, of course, been waiting decades to dive back into the Killer Clowns. They've been wanting to do a film. Now they're getting a game, which hopefully will get publicity going for the possibility of another film here. I swear, Killer Clowns has become much more popular lately. I think Halloween Horror Nights had a lot to do with that, to say the least. I mean, with the scare zone in the house and just, I think that helped revive this franchise. And now you've got the video game coming. And the brothers are teasing here, saying, quote, "We have also unlocked our treasure chest and shared our notebooks of ideas that we have been working on for 35 years with the team. We gave them insights into the origins of the clown race and teased at the possibility they've been visiting Earth for a long time." Quote, "But it became very clear early on that the gameplay wouldn't support the narrative of our continued stories for the franchise, but it would allow us to share many of the new weapons and antics we've been playing around with all these years. We're really excited to say that fans can look forward to seeing some of our ideas for fun kills that we never got to put on film, and also learn more about the clown's larger mythology and world. We feel the gaming world will allow us to explore more diverse and outrageous settings in the future more easily than if we were to more traditional TV movie production limitations. It will be great fun to show how clowns messed around with ancient Egyptians and helped them build things, or who knows, we might finally get to go to Clown Planet and visit that insanity one day. We have so many ideas for amazing new clown gags that we have been toying with, and we're thrilled to say that we were able to include many in the game. So good on them, man. It seems like they get to live that franchise some more with this video game. Hopefully the game's good. More power to them. Hopefully, again, like I said, it's a good, fun time for them and the people playing the game. Let's see, AMC Theaters is partnering with Zoom, of all things, to allow audience members to video chat from their local multiplex, which if you're like me, you're like, what the fuck? We already got to tell people not to have our cell phones, but now you're going to have people Zooming during this, but I don't think that's what this is about. Users will be able to book Zoom rooms online at their preferred theater and meeting times. They will receive a 3-hour block of time to virtually host their event across multiple markets. All right, my freaking TV came on pause there and threw me off. So let's go back at this. They will receive 3-hour block of time to virtually host their event across multiple markets and select locations. AMC and Zoom will provide the necessary equipment for a fully functioning Zoom Rooms experience with our auditorium size as expected to range between 75 and 150 seats. Unclear how much the space will cost. Additional services include food, beverages, offerings, possible movie viewings, and concierge-style personalized handling of meetings. Whatever, dude. This is just weird. It's weird. I don't know why you would need that, but nonetheless, there you go. And last bit of news here. James Cameron is prepped to end the Avatar franchise with 3 films. That is, of course, based on how the new film does. James Cameron said, quote, "The market could be telling us we're done in 3 movies, or we might be semi-done," meaning, okay, let's complete the story within movie 3 and not go on endlessly if it's just not profitable. We're in a different world now than we were when I wrote this stuff even. It's a 1-2 punch, the pandemic and streaming, or conversely, maybe we'll remind people what's going on, what going to the theater is all about. The film definitely does that. The question is, how many people give a shit now? And I am part of that. In part there. I don't care about the Avatar franchise. I really didn't care when the first film came out. I think the only time I got excited for anything Avatar was when that land opened. The Pandora land opened at Disney. Like, I was excited to experience that because it was something new. I did the 2 rides there, whatever, what is it, Flight of Passage, that was all right, and was the River Journey, which was, what it was. I waited 4 hours for that thing, Jesus, but, won't do that again, but, yeah, I can care less about these Avatar films. I continuously forget that there's an Avatar movie coming out this year, let alone that there's a 3rd film to come. Like, I mean, if you enjoy the Avatar franchise, cool, not hating on you, enjoy what you enjoy, but it's never been a film that's like spoke to me like, I gotta see that. Never been, all that interested in them. So if it does end at 3, cool, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing over with. All these sequels has been announced, and it's just been years and years and years. And it's a good question, man. Will people even care that there's a new Avatar film coming out? Guess we'll see with the numbers. But as for now, and the numbers, that does it for this episode, man. Appreciate you all joining in and listening to this episode. Hope you had a good time with this one as well as the double feature that recently came out. Again, follow all the shows. I did mention 2 of the shows earlier. Don't forget about the Mr. Wonderful show. That's a good show as well. He's got you covered with the entertainment news. And we've, of course, got Improper Guidance. So all of the fun stuff. Follow us on the Thrill Me Podcast Network, wherever you listen to your podcast. Of course, you can find us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, apparently. So, and Patreon. So all good stuff, man. Appreciate you all. We enjoy all of your support, and we thank you for joining along the fun with us. But as for this episode, we are done, man. I will talk to you next week, as I will be seeing Black Panther 2 this week. Thursday night, opening night, I will see Black Panther 2. I will have my review for you on the next episode of this show. And remember, as always, that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.